Okay, let's dive into this explainer. We've all been in that agonizing spot, right? You're trying to figure out if someone is actually into you, but you are terrified of misreading the whole thing, jumping the gun, and, well, facing that awful sting of rejection. And because of that totally normal fear, attraction almost never gets spoken out loud at the very beginning. But here's the thing. The fascinating truth is that the human body gives it away way before our words ever do. We're literally constantly broadcasting our true feelings. So today, we're going to learn exactly how to intercept and read those hidden broadcasts.
Have you ever walked away from a conversation, replaying it over and over in your head, just wondering, wait, were they just being polite? Or is there actually something more going on here? It's a completely universal dilemma, and it's wild how often we totally miss the signs just because we don't know what to look for. But today, we're going to act as code breakers. By looking at 5 specific psychology-backed patterns together, we can start to decode what's really happening beneath the surface and confidently answer that exact question.
Section 1. The silent language.
Welcome to the absolute Wild West of unspoken clues. The most incredible part about all the dynamics we're about to explore is that most of the time, people don't even realize they're doing it. We're talking about subconscious body language, those completely unintentional physical behaviors that reveal genuine underlying interest. And I want to assure you right off the bat, these aren't just wild guesses or old wives' tales. No, we are looking at deeply established patterns backed by actual psychology and behavioral science. You see, these signals are so incredibly authentic because they completely bypass the brain's logical filtering systems. They're driven mostly by our primal limbic system, meaning it's an involuntary physical truth that literally slips out when someone is genuinely intrigued by you. Once you learn to spot these, you are tapping into a very real, scientifically proven dynamic.
Section 2. Visual and Physical Magnetism.
The very first place this physical magnetism shows up is right in the eyes. And this happens totally involuntarily when the body is just near someone it genuinely likes. Think about the clear distinction between polite listening and subconscious attraction. When someone is just being polite, their eye contact is, standard. It's expected. It's comfortable. But when there is subconscious attraction bubbling under the surface, they're going to hold that eye contact just a beat longer than normal. In psychology, we actually know this prolonged gaze helps trigger the release of oxytocin, which is that powerful chemical tied to human bonding. Or, on the flip side, they might look away abruptly because the tension is just too much, but then they find themselves repeatedly glancing back at you. That classic glance away and look back maneuver, that is just the brain frantically trying to manage the intense tension of attraction. That lingering gaze is a massive, uncontrollable signal.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point, which is unconscious mirroring. Pay close attention to things like posture, hand gestures, and even their tone of voice. When someone is really attracted to you, their brain's mirror neurons fire up into absolute overdrive. Evolutionary biology tells us that humans actually evolved to mirror each other as a way to build trust and rapport super quickly. So if you lean in, they lean in. Have you ever noticed a moment where you both reach for your coffee mug at the exact same time? Or maybe you use a ton of hand gestures while you talk, and suddenly they're doing the exact same thing? They might even start automatically adjusting the pacing and pitch of their own voice to perfectly match yours. It is an amazing sign of this deep-rooted, totally subconscious drive to connect with you.
As that trust builds and the rapport really sets in, the dynamic naturally shifts towards physical proximity. People will suddenly find these tiny, seemingly accidental reasons to touch you. Now, we aren't talking about grand, obvious gestures here. We are talking about incredibly light, fleeting touches. It might be a super quick brush on the arm when they laugh at a joke you made, a gentle pat on the shoulder, or even just a grazing of the hand when they pass you an object. These micro-touches are basically a subconscious risk assessment. Their brain is testing the waters, trying to see exactly how you react to them being in your immediate personal space. If you stiffen or pull away, their brain instantly knows to back off. But if you relax or lean into it, well, that's a bright green light for them to continue.
Section 3. The Psychological Tells.
So, we've looked at the external, physical behaviors. Let's pivot our narrative arc right now to the internal side of things. We're moving from physical tells to psychological tells. These are the internal indicators showing that a deep, genuine interest has firmly taken root in someone's mind. Imagine someone casually says to you, "Hey, didn't you say your favorite coffee was a flat white?" Bringing up a tiny, seemingly totally insignificant detail that you mentioned in passing, like weeks ago, that is a massive indicator. When we're attracted to someone, our brain essentially takes a bright neon highlighter to everything they say. It magically turns mundane details into highly prioritized memories. It absolutely proves that they were genuinely paying attention to you, hanging on your every word and actively storing that info away for later. They weren't just nodding politely while waiting for their turn to speak, they were deeply, deeply invested in you.
Now, this intense internal focus very often overflows into external nervous energy. Think about fidgeting. When someone likes you, that genuine interest causes a mild, totally natural adrenaline spike. Suddenly, the body has all this extra restless kinetic energy bouncing around inside, and it has to do something with it. As a result, you might see them constantly playing with their watch, adjusting their collar, smoothing out a wrinkle on their shirt, or tapping their fingers against a glass.
And that same uncontrollable kinetic energy spills right over into how they talk, often resulting in slightly faster speech. I mean, think about the huge cognitive load of interacting with someone you really, really like. Your mind is absolutely racing. You want to impress them, you want to be funny, and you're incredibly excited just to be around them. Because of that heavy mental load, the vocal cords and the breath actually speed up. The words just start tumbling out a bit quicker than normal, and they might even trip over their own sentences or jump excitedly from one topic to the next.
This all culminates in a subtle but highly visible overall nervousness. And you really need to know this isn't a bad thing at all. We absolutely shouldn't view this subtle nervousness as some kind of lack of confidence. Honestly, it's a profound compliment. It means the stakes feel incredibly high for them, they care deeply about your opinion, they want the interaction to go perfectly, and their body is quite simply reacting to the underlying adrenaline of desperately wanting to put their absolute best foot forward for you.
Section 4. Decoding the signs.
Okay, so we've laid all these raw clues out on the table, but how do you actually apply this psychological toolkit to your own interpersonal dynamics so you aren't just left guessing? So the crucial point is this magic number right here, 3. In behavioral analysis, experts rarely rely on just a single gesture. Instead, they look for clusters of behavior to establish a solid baseline and weed out pure coincidences. If someone in your life shows 3 or more of these specific signs, like the prolonged eye contact, the mirroring, the micro-touches, remembering highlighted details, or that sudden nervous energy, it is probably not just your imagination playing tricks on you. If it's just one sign, sure, maybe they're just naturally a fidgety person. But 3 or more, that clustering crosses the threshold into a scientifically backed pattern of true, genuine attraction.
So I turn the question over to you. Have you noticed this? Think really carefully about the people in your life right now. Is there anyone broadcasting these silent signals without even realizing it? If this resonates with the dynamic you're experiencing right now, drop down and comment, "I noticed this." And hey, be sure to subscribe for more psychology breakdowns like this explainer every single week, because let me leave you with this final thought. The human body is constantly speaking a language that is infinitely louder and far more honest than our words. The only question is, are you ready to listen?